Darkle is a deleted character that was meant to appear in GTA 3. Darkle, in Rockstar's own words, was a crazy bum who gave the player crazy missions. Many players say that Darkle was going to give the player incredibly dark missions, one involving blowing up a school bus and more. But due to the September attacks, Rockstar quickly scrubbed these from the game. The reason many players come to these conclusions is that despite Darkle being removed from the game, one of his missions does remain, and it's called I Scream, You Scream. And yes, it does involve rigging an ice cream truck with explosives. Apartment 3C. Apartment 3C is an Easter egg that exists in GTA Vice City. Upon entering the door, you're teleported into a secret interior that mirrors a famous scene from the movie Scarface, where in the movie, Tony Montana enters an apartment complex just like this for a drug deal. It goes seriously wrong, resulting in one of his associates being killed in the bathroom with a chainsaw. So this is clearly a reference to this scene. In GTA San Andreas, deep in the woods, you can find what's known as the ghost cars, because there's no drivers and the appearance of these vehicles is beaten up and damaged, which is pretty creepy to find out in the middle of the woods. If you take them to Pay and Spray, you cannot repair them. Apparently, many players say that the reason they exist in the game is because Rockstar wanted to give us a way to escape the woodlands and rural areas if we ever got stuck there. The heart of Liberty City is a famous GTA 4 Easter egg, where the player can find a secret door atop the Statue of Liberty's base, and when climbed to the top, you will see that the Statue of Liberty has a heart that's beating and chained. Shooting it or throwing explosives at it will make it splurt blood, but it won't trigger any unusual responses. Now, in the Ballad of Gay Tony, the protagonist can actually spawn inside this area if he passes out drunk, which is a pretty cool little fact. The Mount Chiliad mystery stems in GTA 5, where atop Mount Chiliad there's a cable car building, and on the wall, of course, there's a mysterious mural which depicts some kind of map inside of the mountain, or so players claim. All across Mount Chiliad you can find random symbols and cave paintings that correlate with these symbols found on the map as well. That then of course led players to fixate on the three symbols at the bottom and what they could have possibly meant. An egg, a UFO, and a jetpack, which are core myths in the GTA community, so you can see why people went crazy over this. Now, Rockstar Games were actually planning on adding some story expansions to the game. One of these was going to be Agent Trevor, which would have been Trevor as a secret agent, which would have involved him inside Mount Chiliad doing some secret missions. Teapot is the name that makes Rockstar Games themselves shudder with anxiety. This is the username given to the infamous GTA hacker who leaked over an hour of development footage for GTA 6. He did it using an Amazon Fire Stick, a USB keyboard plugged into a television from a hotel room. So he hacked one of the most secretive companies in the world from a hotel TV using a Fire Stick. His username was Teapot Uber Hacker, because he also was responsible allegedly for the attacks on Uber just a few weeks prior. This has to be the longest living mystery in the series besides the UFOs by far, and this all started way back in 2004 with the release of San Andreas, as players began to explore the expansive woodlands that the game has to offer. Well, many players started feeding into rumours that they had seen something out there in the woods, and perhaps this was the cause of these ghost cars that we mentioned earlier. Some even say if you look at the map from above in a certain manner, you can see a Bigfoot footprint etched into the terrain. Then later into GTA 5, Rockstar Games were well aware of how popular this myth was, so they actually decided to add some literal Easter eggs featuring Bigfoot into the game. The Epsilon program is really interesting because it's been present in more GTA games than you might know, including GTA 4 and GTA San Andreas. Led by Chris Formage, this cult is Rockstar's parody of Scientology, or so it's believed. And with the appearance of the cult in GTA 5 being its largest, because even Michael can actually join the cult and meet Chris Formage in person. He has to do a variety of really unusual things, such as running through the desert in robes for 5 miles. But did you know that Rockstar actually held a competition prior to GTA 5, where fans could submit their faces in pictures and potentially be featured in the game as Epsilon cult members? Pigsy. Pigsy exists inside of the Rockstar game Manhunt. He's a psychopathic killer who dresses up with a pig mask and chases the protagonist around with a chainsaw. He's almost completely inhuman in behaviour and has lost all connection with reality. Players claim that Pigsy can be found in GTA San Andreas deep in the woods and at junkyards in Angel Pine. But of course, no evidence besides PC mods have actually brought this to light. He actually has an action figure that can be found in Zero's RC shop. So maybe Pigsy does exist in the GTA universe. It's said that he chases the player around with a chainsaw. Fingerless gloves. The fingerless gloves can be seen in many GTA 4 promotional artworks and even some beta screenshots. Yet these gloves do not exist anywhere in the final game. However, the gloves do exist and remain within the game files and can be easily toggled on and off with the use of a mod menu. Why weren't they at least an unlockable piece of clothing for completing the storyline? There's a lot of questions left unanswered and there's never been an official response from Rockstar in regards to this, but I guess it was a development oversight. The skateboard files and weapon icon have been discovered in the code for GTA San Andreas. Unfortunately, the weapon doesn't exist in the final game, and CJ would have been able to ride it as well as use it as a melee weapon. It's not 100% confirmed how this would have worked, whether we could do ollies, and it's likely it was cut from the game quite early into development, and they obviously had some issues with the code, otherwise they 100% would have left this one in there. Jolene Cranley Evans is also known as the Ghost of Mount Gordo. It's a proven myth in GTA 5, where near the peak of Mount Gordo at 11 o'clock at night, you can see a ghost appear above a rock with the word Jock written in blood. Now, the ghost is proven to be Jolene Cranley Evans, the deceased wife of Jock Cranley, who's a famous stunt double who appeared in many popular TV shows in the 1980s. Now, his wife objected to him moving out of Los Santos, so while on a hike on Mount Gordo, Jock Cranley pushed her off the side of the cliff. Project Americas. Project Americas was the alleged code name given to GTA 6 during development. This name was first dropped way back in March of 2018 by The Know, which is a gaming news YouTube channel, and it took all the way until 2022 and the leaks we mentioned earlier to confirm that this was in fact the correct code name. The reason it was called this is because initially, rather than just being set in Miami, GTA 6 was actually going to feature a hell of a lot more of America, including South America. What's even scarier is that if GTA 6 does release in 2026, that will mark nearly 8 years since this original leak came out. Eddie Lowe. Eddie Lowe is a serial killer who can be found in GTA 4. This guy is a sick-minded creep who has very unsettling mannerisms when in the presence of Nico. In one scene, Nico claims that this guy Eddie should get laid in order to vent some of his frustration, and he replies, "I did several minutes ago," with a jogger down by the water, implying that he's a seriously sinister character. In one mission, Nico has to drop him off at the ferry dock where he disposes of a bag in the water, and he claims that he's just, quote, dropping the kids off at the pool. In the final encounter with Eddie, he turns violent on Nico after Nico embarrasses him, pulling a knife out and trying to stab him. This is where Nico is then able to finally end the terror that is Eddie Lowe. But you can also find a variety of his blogs on the internet in-game which have some seriously disturbing entries into it. Jack Thompson is a controversial anti-video game activist and disbarred attorney. He was involved in multiple legal actions and public campaigns against Rockstar Games and Grand Theft Auto. He personally filed or was involved in at least 4 major lawsuits targeting them. Throughout the late 90s to mid-2000s, he filed lawsuits trying to connect various games like Vice City and San Andreas to real-life murders. And they even decided to add their own little Easter egg in GTA 4 during the mission final interview. Nico Bellic has to meet with a lawyer who Jack Thompson himself claims is based on him, so he's well aware of this Easter egg. If you pull a gun out on this guy and aim at him, he will say, "Guns don't kill people, video games do."
Guns don't kill people, video games do.
Vice City was a DLC. After the huge success of GTA 3 in 2001, Rockstar wanted to quickly follow up with more content using the same game engine, renderware. So internally, development of GTA Vice City began, but it actually began as a mission pack or expansion for GTA 3. More like a glorified DLC. Back then, downloadable content didn't really exist on consoles the way it does now, so the expansion was developed as a separate retail game. However, as development started to progress, Rockstar realized the potential and instead decided to turn it into a fully fledged game. And somehow, it only took them 1 year from the release of GTA 3 to release GTA Vice City. The Swing Set of Death. The Swing Set of Death is a notorious glitch in GTA 4. When a player drives a vehicle into the swing set, it reacts very strangely with the physics engine, often shooting the player's car way up into the sky. Of course, this is a really fun glitch to play around with, and it became so popular that even in later patches of the game, Rockstar didn't remove it. That's led many people to wonder whether or not this was added on purpose in the first place anyway. The Hatch. The Hatch is an Easter egg in GTA 5. It's a clear nod to the TV show Lost. It appears as a round metallic structure hidden embedded on the ocean floor, with a bright light emitting from the top. Now if you get really close to this hatch in GTA 5, you can actually hear Morse code being tapped on the metal. It spells out, "Hey, you never call, how do you fancy going bowling?" Blue Hell is a fan term used to describe the glitched empty space underneath the game world. It was most popular in GTA San Andreas. Now, when a player falls or clips through the map due to bugs or exploiting the game, they will enter this very dark void space which is known as the Blue Hell. In this area, all solid geometry is mostly missing. However, there are still NPCs that walk around and it sort of mirrors the Upside world. In San Andreas, it's possible to enter this with a jetpack in the gym, and you can even explore interiors in this place. That's basically what this place is used for. Apparently, the Blue Hell is miles above the game world, and it's where the game stores all of the interiors easily accessible for the game when loading in and out of buildings. In GTA Vice City, if you go to the rooftop of the downtown news building, you can then find a window which when jumped towards actually doesn't have any collision. You'll end up inside this small room in the air and you'll actually see a literal chocolate Easter egg which reads Happy Easter. 9/11 changed GTA 3. After the attacks on New York City in 2001, GTA 3 underwent several last-minute changes. Yeah, you can see why that one was removed. Police cars were also changed from blue to black, because the original models which were supposed to be blue were very close to New York City police cars. Some of the aircraft lines in the sky or the paths that the planes followed were changed so that they never actually looked like they were flying close to buildings. And one of the most popular changes is that we almost had an entirely different box art for the game. The GTA 3 original box art was going to look like this, which looked more like a movie poster and was a lot more raw. So they went with the now iconic cartoon, comic kind of design. Obviously, there's also rumours about Darkle being removed from the game, but we have to just take Rockstar's word on it that this guy wasn't going to give us missions that were like that. Hot coffee. Now, you knew this one was coming, and it's probably the most famous scandal in GTA history. Hot coffee was a hidden minigame in GTA San Andreas that featured, shall we say, explicit content minigames between CJ and his girlfriends. Essentially, you would have buttons that appeared on screen where you could do acts with your girlfriend in the bedroom. It was left in the files by mistake and only discovered by modders and re-enabled. This landed Rockstar in insanely hot water, and a giant lawsuit ensued. Anyway, the game was almost rated an adult only in the wake of this discovery, and GTA San Andreas was pulled from video game shelves. Rockstar had to quickly re-release a patched version of the game in order to then get the game resold on shop shelves. CJ's mum's ghost. CJ's mum, Beverly Johnson, is a central but unseen character in San Andreas. She was killed in a drive-by before the events of the game, and it's the reason why CJ returns from Liberty City. Some players claim that in CJ's house at certain times of night or during certain weather types, you can actually hear noises coming from inside the household. Other players have claimed that they've seen a ghost or see-through figure of CJ's mum walking around the Johnson house. Obviously none of these have been proven true, and there's nothing in the game files to say so. The Ghost Tower. The Ghost Tower refers to a tower you can see in GTA Vice City, and that's because it's an LOD, or a low-level detail render of the building that was supposed to be on the second island. Rockstar Games removed it from the final game, but forgot to remove the LOD version. So that's why as soon as you access the second island, it then pops out of render distance, essentially becoming a ghost tower. Brian Johnson. Brian is CJ and Sweet's youngest brother in GTA San Andreas. Now, it's unknown exactly what happened, but there's many references throughout the storyline that seem to indicate that CJ was present when Brian died, and potentially may have left him to die, maybe even fleeing or abandoning him while he was bleeding out. Rockstar have never officially confirmed exactly what happened, and we only have speculation to go on as to what happened, but it's likely it was some kind of drug or gang-related violence. The abandoned mineshaft remains one of GTA 5's most atmospheric and unsettling hidden locations. In the original PS3 and Xbox 360 versions, you couldn't actually get inside of here, but on the next-gen ports you can blow up the entrance and actually access the tunnels. Once you get inside, you'll find a very long dark tunnel system filled with wooden beams and minecarts. However, at the end you can discover an eerie decomposing corpse wearing very old-fashioned clothing. Sharks in Vice City. While rare, it's possible to find sharks in Vice City if you spend enough time out in the ocean. Believe it or not, sharks are rumoured to be the reason why Tommy cannot swim in the water, because in the game's manual it says, "Warning, stay out of the ocean, sharks have been known to frequent the waters." The Ghost Town. The Ghost Town is the name given to the off-camera location in GTA 3 where the introduction cutscene takes place. This place is located outside the map's boundaries, and you can only see it by flying the Dodo. This place has no solid collision, but using mods we can change that and explore this place and see how it would have looked. Weirdly, this location doesn't exist anywhere in the game's physical explorable map. The Orange Grove Families. Originally, it seems that Grove Street was not actually going to be green. In fact, Grove Street Families was going to be called the Orange Grove Families, and they likely would have worn orange. You can see in some of the beta screenshots and artwork for the game that this is most likely the case. You can also see graffiti around the map that still says OGF on it, as well as a tattoo that CJ can get which literally says Orange Grove Families. For a long time, the name of Claude from GTA 3 was subject to many debates. The name Claude isn't mentioned anywhere throughout the entire game, and many players thought that his name might have been Fido, because that's what Maria calls him during a certain mission. But as it turns out, Fido is just a name given to a dog, and she probably gave it to him because he runs around doing errands no matter what anyone tells him. So it was more of an insult or a jab than an actual nickname. However, in the game's files, his player model is referenced as the name Claude, so that's what players went with, and then Rockstar Games confirmed it 10 years later. Leatherface. The name Leatherface is taken from the antagonist of the horror movie series The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. He wears masks made out of human skin and engages in acts of cannibalism. Obviously, his signature weapon is a chainsaw. Much like the existence of Pigsy, Leatherface is another myth circulated by the community, which again stems from many of the mods that players have installed to their games. Now, there are some wooden cabins in the middle of lumber yards with blood all over the floors, which is a mystery in itself, but as for the actual existence of Leatherface, well, this one's just a myth. The Harwood Butcher. This is the nickname given to Tommy Vercetti. The story behind this name is really fascinating. You see, in 1971, Tommy was working as a hitman for the Forelli crime family. He was dispatched to Harwood in Liberty City to eliminate a rival gang member. Unbeknownst to him, his boss Sonny Forelli had orchestrated an ambush, sending 11 hitmen to assassinate him. Defying the odds, Tommy actually survived this and took out all 11 hitmen. He was sent to prison for 15 years, but due to him surviving this ambush, that's what gave him the nickname the Harwood Butcher. It's been speculated that obviously he used some kind of blunt object or machete to do the act, but that's not been confirmed. UFOs. Since GTA 3, UFOs are GTA's longest living myth. It wasn't until GTA San Andreas though that the myth actually became true, where you could find photographs in the restaurant the Little Probe Inn in the desert which actually had UFOs on them. Many players reported seeing flashing lights high up in the sky way above aircraft, but of course that didn't stop the GTA community from speculating that these were UFOs. That being said though, fast forward to GTA 5 and Rockstar Games actually added physical UFOs to the game as Easter eggs, so yeah, UFOs definitely exist in the GTA universe. But the vast majority of anything related to UFOs prior to GTA 5 was all just speculation, myths, or mods. The Gator Keys. Now, the Gator Keys is in GTA Vice City. Just like the Florida Keys and the Everglades, it was intended to be swampy, a rural area, and located outside of Vice City. Now, there's some unused mission dialogue where Avery Carrington would have sent Tommy Vercetti to escort a representative of his to the Gator Keys. On top of that, there was also another location rumoured called Shady Acres, which was supposedly a luxury homing development area within the Gator Keys, or around that area as well. And you can actually hear Avery talking about this place on the in-game radio station.
Shady Acres is an incredible, upscale, state-of-the-art, top-notch condominium development. A short drive out of town on some pristine wetlands, away from the noise and uninvited diversity of the city.
The beta missions of GTA San Andreas. There's a variety of beta missions that were supposed to be added to GTA San Andreas. Now, the truth is out there is one of these infamous missions, which would have taken place after the mission Green Goo. In this mission, CJ would have to escort the Truth to a safety area while the FBI were trying to take him down, obviously because he stole the Green Goo. On top of this, there's another mission called Doberman, which is different from the Doberman mission in the final game, and instead this would have had CJ taking out a witness for the crashed police officers. There's another mission named Impounded, where CJ would have to recover his car from the impound lot with Caesar, Roadside Assistance, where CJ had to help Caesar fix a broken down car, and many more that we sadly have no idea what happened to them. It's safe to say with over 100 missions in the final game though, plenty of missions we never even knew about probably got cut from the game as well. Horses in GTA 5. Did you know that GTA 5 was meant to feature rideable horses that would have been part of a bigger mission called the Sharmuta Heist? In this mission, Michael and Trevor would have robbed Martin Madrazo's mansion before escaping on horseback and kidnapping Patricia. The police scanner audio files still exist in the game, which prove to us that horses, or at least riding on horses, was possible.
On a black horse, riding a brown horse.
The Mount Chiliad face. This one refers to the fact that if you go to this point on Mount Chiliad, you can see a face engraved into the side of the rocks. It looks like this may be one of the developers' faces that worked on the game, but unfortunately Rockstar have since patched this out on newer versions of the game, so the only way you can really see it is on the Xbox 360 or PlayStation 3 version. Anyway, Rockstar have since replaced it with a literal cock with legs, so yeah, you can tell they weren't very happy about that. CJ crossed universes. Now, Rockstar Games have stated that the 3D and HD universes are separate, but that being said, there's still a lot of Easter eggs and references out there in the HD universe that CJ's storyline and events did actually happen in the HD universe. Firstly, CJ can be found on a book cover in front of Lester's house, a billboard in GTA 4, and Lamar and Franklin can even be heard talking about CJ and the events of Grove Street from San Andreas in a certain mission.
Hey, you know Grove Street used to be family hood. Grove Street family? Man, long time ago. Man, what happened to them dudes? Shit, I don't know. Could be dead. Shit,
On top of that, when you hang out with Jimmy, sometimes he also mentions Grove Street families and the past events of San Andreas.
families for life. Hey, man, you really don't want people hear you saying that. Yo, so let me ask you something, F-Dog. Man, it's Franklin. What? Are you Grove Street? Is Grove Street like a myth? Man, that's some old school shit.
Packy's plane. At the end of GTA The Ballad of Gay Tony, in the credits, we can see Packy getting out of a taxi at the international airport. A few scenes later, we can see this plane taking off from the runway, and the camera pans down, foreshadowing GTA 5 with an illuminated V symbol on the runway. Now, much later on in the GTA First trailer for GTA 5, we saw the same plane, or at least a similar looking one, coming into land at Los Santos, leading many people at the time to speculate, was Paki the main protagonist of GTA 5? Not quite, but he definitely did make an appearance, so Rockstar Games knew what they were doing here. Dreamcast GTA 3. GTA 3 was originally in development for the Sega Dreamcast in the late 1990s. The development began at DMA Design, which is now Rockstar North. They began prototyping the game on Dreamcast hardware with a much more colourful and cartoonish looking graphics style. I've actually got a video where I explore the alpha version of GTA 3, or at least a mod that makes it look like it was, so definitely check that out after this video if you're interested. Anyway, eventually they of course later decided to only port it to the PlayStation 2 at the time, but that being said, some modders recently have actually managed to get GTA 3 working on a Dreamcast, which is seriously impressive. Tom Novi in GTA 3. Tom Novi is a German DJ and music producer, known for his contributions to the house music scene. In GTA 3, his music Back to the Streets soundtrack was featured on the in-game radio station Head Radio. Well, at least it was during the beta development. For some reason, this was completely cut from the game. And believe it or not, Tom Novi would have been the very first celebrity that would have had a cameo in a GTA game, because a file in the game's files of his character model still exists. Unfortunately, obviously, this was never used, so technically Tom Novi is the first celebrity ever to appear as himself in a GTA game. Stephen Ogg hates Trevor. Now, Stephen Ogg is known for voicing Trevor Phillips, but he's also a very talented actor who has other roles, and I think even sometimes that can get to him. He expresses discomfort in being closely associated with Trevor, and often seems like he gets quite annoyed that people don't recognize his acting talents in other movies or roles, and he's known as Trevor to the vast majority of his fans. You see, Stephen has a cameo profile where you can pay for him to leave you a custom message. Many people book him on Cameo and get him to do some kind of voice in Trevor's character. Understandably, that's fine. But Stephen, in many of these public videos that have been posted to the internet, expose his, shall we say, not so great personality or attitude while doing these cameos.
He wanted me to give you this message from Trevor, which, of course, I'm not Trevor. My name is Stephen. Right? That's an actor's job. So, I need to get that off my chest. I just sometimes don't fucking understand.
Franklin dies in option C. In the ending of GTA 5, the player is presented with three options: kill Michael, kill Trevor, or C, Death Wish. Now, many people probably thought on their initial playthrough that choosing option C, Death Wish, would have killed Franklin, and they wouldn't be entirely wrong for thinking this. You see, there's a fan theory that suggests that in the original beta version of the game, option C, Death Wish, would have actually had Franklin dying. And it's actually somewhat been proven as being true, because Slink Johnson, the guy who did the voice acting for Lamar, went to Reddit to do an AMA, or Ask Me Anything. And during that, a fan said, is it true that Lamar was supposed to have a bigger role? And that Franklin was going to die and Lamar would become the next protagonist. And the way in which Lamar, or should we say Slink Johnson, replied to this was extremely interesting. Basically somewhat confirming that that's true, he's shocked that this person even knew about it, and saying that the only reason that wasn't the case is because he had legal issues in real life and wasn't able to fulfill such an acting role. Beta photos. Over the last few years, and as time has gone on, many beta development photos of GTA 5 have been found on portfolios of ex-Rockstar developers. Not only that, but recently some of the GTA 5 source code got leaked to the internet, and through that people were able to find some extremely early beta photos buried amongst the files. Some of these images reveal that, for example, GTA 5 at one point had a circular radar. You can see that it's being built on the GTA 4 engine, and there was a hell of a lot more shrubbery and trees and vegetation, which is kind of sad to see that none of this exists in the final game. It's really interesting to watch, and once again I'm going to plug one of my own videos where I explore the GTA 5 beta development photos, so if you're interested in that, again, maybe check my channel out after this video and give that one a watch. Hidden signs. In nearly every GTA game, there's a hidden message to discover. Even in games like GTA Chinatown Wars, where an underwater sign can be found that reads, "Here be dragons." In GTA 3, there was a hidden sign behind a wall that said, "You weren't supposed to get here, you know." In Vice City, of course, you have the Easter egg, In GTA San Andreas, there's the Golden Gate Bridge, which there's a sign on top that says there's no Easter eggs up here, go away. So yeah, you're getting the idea. There's plenty of hidden messages in GTA games, and if you thought GTA 5 didn't have one, well, think again, because you can find this way up in the sky. Timmy Vermicelli. Timmy Vermicelli is a satirical character featured in the 2004 video game Driver 3, developed by Reflections. He serves as a parody of Tommy Vercetti, the protagonist of Vice City, because he's wearing armbands, which basically is making fun of Tommy that can't swim, and he's wearing a floral designed shirt, just like Tommy does in Vice City as well. You have to find all of the Timmy Vermicellis and take them out. And this was the beginning of a pretty comedic feud between Rockstar Games and the developer of the Driver series, which we'll explain a little bit more in some of the future facts coming up, so definitely stay peeled if you want to see how Rockstar clapped back. Vice City Stories planes. There's a really cool glitch which allows you to actually enter passenger planes in Vice City Stories. Usually at the airport, planes will take off and land, but you shouldn't actually be able to gain access to them. However, if you land on top of one of these passenger aircraft from around this area here, you can actually teleport inside and technically take a ride in the plane as it flies around Vice City. Unfortunately, you can't control it. The Spas 12 in GTA 4. The Spas 12 can be seen in various GTA 4 artworks, but is not actually present in the final game. It's unknown why Rockstar Games cut this from the game, but it's very clear that at one point in development this was definitely a weapon that you could obtain. In the beta version, it's rumoured that it was going to be light, medium and heavy, and weapons like the minigun, Spas 12, an LMG, and a revolver were all cut from the game. GTA 5 protagonists reflect us. This theory suggests that the three protagonists in GTA 5 all have varying personality types to suit different types of GTA players. Trevor represents the player who likes going on rampages, causing chaos, stealing tanks and entering cheat codes, and his special ability basically allows you to do that. Franklin represents the player who likes driving and fast cars, and his special ability once again represents that. Finally, Michael, the traditional GTA player who likes to take their time and play tactically. His ability to slow down time while shooting backs that theory up. The Andromeda. The Andromeda, not to be confused with Andromeda, is a large plane in GTA San Andreas which only spawns in one mission, which is called Stowaway. Now in this mission, CJ has to ride a bike into the back of this giant cargo plane, plant explosives and jump out to detonate it. However, this plane actually exists in the game files as well, and it can be seen flying way above the city, but apparently these things spawn so high in the sky and they're so quick that you just simply wouldn't be able to catch them. That being said, there is a method where if you blow it up in the mission Stowaway, you can actually keep this thing and fly it around. But yeah, you can actually fly it, and it actually has its own handling file, so it's pretty cool. The basketball glitch. GTA San Andreas, there's a well-known glitch involving the basketball minigame that can permanently break its functionality on a save file. The reason for this likely lies with the Mad Dog Mansion. As you can see, there's a save file here, but if we go through the wall, there's a basketball court in the mansion within close proximity to this. So the rumor is, if you get the basketball to spawn on this court and then save the game, it won't despawn the ball, so you save the game while the game thinks that the basketball's active, and then, well, it completely breaks it. And yeah, you have to start an entirely new game to fix the bug. Soviet spies in Vice City. Far off in the North Ocean, you can find a submarine with no clear markings just lurking there under the water. Partner this up with the fact that you can find a Gorbachev Easter egg in the ammunition, and many players have speculated that this is the Russian government spying on Vice City citizens. Auntie Paulette is a witch. Auntie Paulette is a really mysterious character that's present in GTA Vice City, known for her unsettling presence and implied supernatural influence. She seems to be able to control Tommy and what he does using drugs or mind control. She gets him to go out and do her dirty work, like killing friendly gang members that Tommy is usually happy to help. Once he returns back to Auntie Paulette, he seems dazed and confused, saying he has no idea how he got there, and doesn't even recognize Auntie Paulette on the second visit. Some players have claimed that on the very early patches of the game on the PS2, Tommy's eyes can even be seen glowing yellow while doing her missions. Furniture and electrical appliance stores were an early beta feature that was meant to be coming to GTA San Andreas. Leftover files and strings of code reveal that we would have been able to purchase furniture and electrical items for our safe houses. However, some electrical appliance stores around the map still seem to have a door box attached to them, which shows us that at one point they would have been enterable. Beta builds of GTA Liberty City Stories and Vice City Stories have been making their way to the internet. One of these skins that we can change to says, "I'm a bug, report me." I guess this skin would have been used if the game couldn't find the texture file given for any given NPC or something. Police brutality.
I only listen to white rappers.
Many players believe that in GTA 5, the police treat Franklin more aggressively than they do Michael or Trevor. Officers will randomly beat or even shoot Franklin for just standing next to them. This is just present in any protagonist in the game, and for some reason the GTA 5 AI is just really bad. That being said though, in GTA San Andreas, you can actually find an Easter egg at the Los Santos police station. If you go into the underground car park, you can actually see 2 police officers beating an NPC over in the corner. So yeah, police brutality does exist in the GTA universe. Mr. Nasty. Mr. Nasty is a mysterious character from Manhunt. He doesn't appear directly in the story, but it's referenced as a powerful underground figure involved in the production of snuff films. He's described as someone with immense influence, a taste for extreme violence and control over the media industry. And that all sounds extremely similar to Donald Love from the Grand Theft Auto franchise. In GTA 3, Donald Love vanishes without explanation partway through the game. Many players have speculated this is because a mission that involved his death was cut from the final game, but as we saw in Liberty City Stories, Donald Love actually has a taste for human flesh. He's actually a cannibal. Maybe Donald Love crossed universes to Manhunt. After all, he has his own Love Media business in the GTA universe, so it would make sense that he's still involved in the media entertainment industry. Earthquakes. A beta weather type known as Earthquake was discovered in the game's files, suggesting that Rockstar once planned to include this event as part of the weather cycle. On the radio games and in the lore, that's the reason why the bridges are all shut at the start of the game. Now, if you actually go into the game files and re-enable this might give you an idea as to why this feature was cut in the first place. Because vehicles will randomly start to bug and jump up into the sky, so I guess they decided it was easier just to cut it and just release the game without it. Liberty State. GTA 4's beta map originally featured a larger and more varied environment, including countryside, rural areas, and mountains. This sketch reveals Rockstar's early plans for the region and shows us just how ambitious they were being before they ultimately decided not to go with quantity and actually to decide to go with quality instead. It's highly likely that this map was just way too ambitious for the hardware at the time, and Rockstar just weren't used to the Xbox 360 and PS3 hardware yet. As cool as it would have been to explore the countryside in GTA 4, I think opting for quality and having a much better physics engine was the smarter choice there. Ghost planes. Planes in GTA San Andreas are designed to spawn near the player to create the illusion of a living, breathing world. But the game only checks a small area before spawning them, so they often crash into hills, trees, or buildings. This has never been fixed in any version of the game, and it's what causes these random plane crashes to happen when the player's nearby. Alcatraz. Some beta maps of GTA San Andreas suggest that Alcatraz Island was planned for inclusion. The clearest hint is found in Mike Torino's cabin, where a map shows a small landmass off the coast of San Fierro. Some people have tried to argue that this is a ship, but why would a moving object be on a static map? That just makes no sense, so this has to be some kind of landmass. CJ Test. CJ Test refers to a secret test map found in the game files of GTA 4. The map is a debug environment which can be spawned with a trainer using to test animations and functionalities of in-game objects, like physics. Notably, you can find doorways here and even shops. However, it seems this area is where a large majority of the in-game television shows were also filmed. So why is it called CJ Test? Does it have anything to do with CJ from GTA San Andreas? No, it's actually because a person that used to work at Rockstar called Campbell John Dick was a senior interior artist at Rockstar North, and this was likely his map, because anything made by him usually has CJ before it. Vice Lights. The GTA series, before it became Grand Theft Auto, was actually called Race and Chase. Now, there's an arcade machine in GTA Online called Race and Chase. Its arcade game is actually an 8-bit version of the GTA 5 theme tune. So what's the big deal? Well, there's also another machine that you can play called Vice Lights, which is of course a Vice City based game, and this also has its own theme tune in 8-bit version, which many people say is such a high quality song that it can't simply just be wasted on this arcade machine. Maybe this is the GTA 6 theme tune. Tear gas. In case you didn't know, in GTA Vice City, tear gas is an exclusive weapon that's actually only available on the original PlayStation 2 version. In the PC and Xbox versions, the pickup was replaced with a standard grenade. According to fans, the reason it was cut is because it caused significant frame rate drops and performance issues on other consoles. The Windows Store speedrun. GTA San Andreas can be beaten to 100% completion incredibly fast using this glitch. In short, this speedrun involves getting a vehicle, driving to a hotel where some grenades can be found, then rushing to a local building where you can access an arcade machine. You can cause the game to lag by exiting and entering this machine really fast, and when that happens, you then need to exit the game and reload it immediately afterwards, then using grenades to blow CJ up. Upon spawning at the hospital, you need to find a police bike and start a vigilante side mission just as you get busted by a police officer. If you get back into a police vehicle again within 60 seconds of respawning, then head to the NRG 500 challenge in San Fierro. I have no idea why, but for some reason this then triggers a 100% completion. The Liberty City Stories Dodo. Thanks to a recently leaked debug build of Liberty City Stories, you can actually spawn the Dodo into the game, because it does in fact exist in the game files. Again, this thing cannot be flown and it will often crash the game without the use of mods making it more flyable. Near Franklin's mansion in Vinewood Hills, you may have noticed this strange cryptic symbol on this nearby wall. Well, if you follow this pathway up to the left, the first house you come across on the left looks uncannily similar to the real-life Sharon Tate mansion, the site of the infamous 1969 Tate murders, which were orchestrated by Charles Manson. What makes this even more unsettling is that you can sometimes discover NPCs partying in the garden of this property, and if you walk into them, they instantly die. Grand Theft Auto Tokyo. This was a real internal project considered by Rockstar Games after the success of GTA 3. New details have emerged in recent reports that shed light onto just how far into development this was, and it might be further than you might expect. You see, Rockstar was specifically interested in Tokyo, Japan. Sam Houser and other Rockstar leads even travelled to Tokyo in the early 2000s to scout locations, gather reference material, and assess whether a city like Tokyo could support the franchise's chaotic open world structure. They ultimately decided that sadly it most likely wouldn't. The Wayfarer bug. The Wayfarer bug is a rather funny glitch that happens when the player gets onto the Wayfarer in GTA San Andreas with a passenger. If this is done with very specific character models, their faces become very creepily dysmorphed. In some examples, when riding with a female like Catalina, her bottom jaw will disappear completely, leaving a horrifying scary face. The Bio-Well. The Bio-Waste Well is a mysterious glowing green well with hazardous warning signs found in GTA San Andreas. It's also found within close proximity of the Sprunk factory, which hints at a dark joke that maybe the soft drink company is using contaminated or toxic water. Many players throughout the years have claimed that there's a way to get inside of these tunnels, but of course all of these are just complete lies. The mysterious door texture. This refers to a specific texture used in GTA San Andreas that's also present in GTA Vice City. So what? Rockstar reused textures, right? Well, not exactly, because this very same texture has been found in many other games as well. So it looks like from time to time, Rockstar do use free texture packages in their games. Apartment 3C was a safe house. A very early preview of GTA Vice City released by Game Informer revealed Tommy Vercetti standing in front of Apartment 3C, where you could already see the interior rendered in, which means that at one point this interior didn't require a loading screen to go in and out of it. Now, what's even more interesting about this is that it mentions alongside this screenshot that there's a safe house near Ocean Beach that Tommy can take over early in the game that then becomes a new house. So people have speculated that this might be an early safe house that Tommy was meant to have. Ashley can die. Many people might not have known this one, but once Trevor has taken out Johnny in the Mr. Phillips mission, the player can then attack Ashley or run her over, which will then trigger a unique line of dialogue that usually wouldn't play.
Bikers, we're in a hurry, but not that much of a hurry. Well, you just get in that bitch Ashley you was in, so if we bury Johnny in the desert, then they don't need to find out about it. You think it's clever to...
Hidden dev names. In every GTA game, Rockstar developers have hidden their names throughout the world. We mentioned earlier the face on Mount Chiliad, but you can also find a gravestone which reads Scott Wilson, who's been with the company for over 20 years. Most notably though, in GTA 3, when flying outside of the map's boundaries, you can see a bunch of fake town names and locations that are named after the developers that worked on the game, and even places like Obiburg for Obi Vermej and others. Take a look here and see if there's any names that you recognise. Prior to GTA 5's release, Leslie Benzies, the former producer of the game, was interviewed and reported to claim that GTA San Andreas was originally planned to have multiple protagonists. Deep in the source code of the game, if you look closely, some modders have found that the game still has the code which is able to calculate different amounts of health and money for different protagonists, as well as statistics. There's several Easter eggs in the GTA franchise that seemingly hint the next location in the series. For example, in GTA 3 you could see a billboard that said "See you in Miami," and 1 year later Vice City released. Additionally, GTA 4 had a poster that could be found saying Liberty City's over, and that the next stop is ... and a clue which showed mountainous regions and trees, possibly hinting at the GTA 5 countryside. And also in GTA 5, you can find a movie poster which says Vice on it, and it has a man and a woman with police sirens in the background. And what do you know about GTA 6? It's set in Vice City, it features a male and female protagonist who are in love, and they of course get in trouble with the law. Ghost ships. Ghost ships are an eerie and confirmed visual phenomenon in GTA Vice City, often spotted far out to sea beyond the playable map boundary. These mysterious ships appear as faint grey silhouettes on the horizon and remain visible for only 5 to 10 seconds before vanishing without a trace. Obviously, they're rendered in as 2D objects that the player can only see from one angle. Headless CJ. Headless CJ glitch in GTA San Andreas can be triggered in co-op mode by having player 2 use a katana to decapitate CJ. Then, once he respawns and the mission ends, CJ remains headless but in single player without dying. Strangely, even though he has no head, CJ can be controlled like normal. Funnily though, his voice lines will abruptly cut off after a split second, adding to the eerie effect. Vice City censorship. In 2021, with the definitive edition of GTA Vice City, many people were quite annoyed to see that the Confederate flag had been removed from the character Phil Cassidy. The reason it was removed? Because it's deemed offensive in today's standards. They replaced it with a pretty crappy design, and this isn't the only bit of censorship Vice City has gone through. You see, on the original version of the game, you could hear many voice lines towards Haitians, where the player would be instructed to shoot the Haitians or get the Haitians. Umberto Robina saying that he hates the Haitians. Well, the Haitian community wasn't so happy about this, and this huge drama ensued, which meant in later versions of the game it was completely changed. Now some of the voice lines in the game sound completely confusing. Albert De Silva. Albert De Silva was a beta version of Michael DeSanta. Rockstar Games used a placeholder name during development of the game for casting calls. GTA 5's codename in development was Rush, and fans quickly found a Rush casting call on the internet, which provided major insight into the characters of GTA 5 before its announcement. Albert De Silva was Michael's codename, but there was also Kevin De Silva and Nervous Jerry to name a few, which of course are Jimmy DeSanta and Nervous Ron. or Ron Jakowski. Woozie has superhuman abilities. Woozie Moo is a blind character in GTA San Andreas, but he's fully capable of driving a vehicle and racing. What's even weirder about this is that in other missions he's so clueless that he even ends up running into walls. It's obvious to see that this guy really cannot see. So if you can explain to me why this guy is capable of driving cars and completing races, then be my guest. Obviously this is just a comedic bit of writing that adds to his character even more, but many people in the community have theorized that Woozie has some kind of superhuman ability.
Now I know you blind, man, but you gotta see this. Very clever.
GTA 4 Rare Pedestrians. Certain pedestrians in GTA 4 have extremely low spawn rates or are tied to specific conditions. One of these is the elusive mailman, which is extremely hard to find. Another is a telegraph line worker who can be found suspended in the air in certain areas of the map. If you've seen any of these guys, then you've definitely found some pretty rare NPCs. Sharks in GTA San Andreas. Unlike GTA Vice City, where sharks are relatively common, sharks in GTA San Andreas are so rare that at one point the community were tied into half of them believing if it was in the game and half the community saying that it was just a myth. Now, a shark texture can be found in the game files, and they do actually have a spawn rate, except the spawn rate is lower than 0.1%, and in order to find a shark, you have to be extremely lucky. Cap the Collector doorway. In the mission Cap the Collector in Vice City, if instead of killing the target you follow them to the final destination, you will see that a secret room opens up where some enemies will come out of. If you kill them and go inside, you can access this small little secret room. However, if the mission fails or gets passed while you're in here, you will be permanently locked inside until you reload a save. Liberty Soul FM. In GTA 3, radios are linked to areas. Soul FM is mentioned in the game files as Liberty City's station, but it isn't accessible in the final game. There's also plenty of billboards you can find that advertise the radio station. I guess this was a radio station that was meant to come to the game, but Rockstar Games removed it and just kept the files in there for the billboards. Donald Love dies. Donald Love in GTA 3 mysteriously goes missing mid-story without any explanation, leading players to theorize that this was something to do with the cut character Darkle, with many players theorizing that in one mission Claude would have to fly a plane into the building that Donald Love was inside, blowing it up and killing him. Only there's something that doesn't actually add up there, and it doesn't take a genius to realize. If Claude is flying the plane into the building, then Claude would die as well. So yeah, this theory's pretty dead in the water, but we still don't have any answers as to what happened to Donald Love. Vice City Stories landmines. In GTA Vice City Stories, in the game files, you can find landmines and they can be spawned with a debug menu. These things don't float in a coloured circle, so they must have been cut fairly early into development, but they do have a heads up display icon. So yeah, you can throw them on the floor and they will blow up if the people drive into them, but that's pretty much as detailed as they get. GTA San Andreas shops are real. Amazingly, a ton of shop fronts in GTA San Andreas are not actually created by Rockstar, and it turns out that they're actually places you can find in real life. And this incredibly talented YouTube channel here managed to find some of the source locations that we can see in game. And it looks like Rockstar Games didn't even change the storefronts for some of them. They straight up reused the textures completely. The mysterious Vice City Stories bike is referencing this motorcycle sin in a variety of pre-release screenshots and in the trailers, which doesn't exist in the final game. No one knows exactly what this bike was called or whether it's just another variant of an already existing motorcycle, but one thing we can say with confidence is that this definitely doesn't exist in the final game. Agent CJ. This rumor originated on the gaming forum NeoGAF, where an anonymous user who worked for Rockstar Games claims that in the early 2000s, a DLC mission pack would have existed for San Andreas, which would have expanded more on CJ's secret agent missions, utilizing things like the jetpack, in featuring a laser rifle, and even having a submarine you could pilot with torpedoes. The Car Crusher glitch in GTA 3. In GTA 3, if you go to the Car Crusher while you have a passenger and get them to pull you out of the vehicle while the vehicle is being lifted, this will not result in the player being wasted. Instead, it kind of triggers the game to bug out a little bit. The more you drive, the more distorted your vehicle will become, eventually becoming so large it takes up the majority of the screen. The vehicle will have no collision, and eventually if you continue on, the game will crash completely. I don't know what exactly causes this glitch, but it's a pretty niche thing that not many people know about. The GTA 5 abilities are real. This theory suggests that the special abilities of Michael, Trevor and Franklin in GTA 5, like bullet time, rage mode and slow motion driving, aren't gameplay mechanics with imaginary effects, but they're actually existing in the game world and other characters can see them happening. This was only theorized until it was proven in the GTA Online Contract DLC, where Lamar himself confirms that when Franklin is slowing down time, everyone else around him can see what is happening.
Hey, this is a fair race, nigga. Don't be doing none of that supernatural freaky driving and shit you be doing.
Man, what you mean?
Man, you know what I mean when you go all cross-eyed like you constipated or some shit.
Man, fuck you. I don't look like that.
Yeah, you do. Hey, you know what I'm talking about.
The Hunter in Liberty City Stories. This one refers to an Easter egg that took over a decade to find. There's no helicopters that are accessible in Liberty City Stories, or so people thought. As it turns out, in the mission Carmageddon, you can actually trigger a secret that was left in by the developers, where you can actually spawn a Hunter attack helicopter on the nearby casino rooftop. You need to head to this location here, stand on the largest pyramid, press left, up, select and X simultaneously, and you'll hear a strange noise. From here, a Hunter attack helicopter will be spawned on top of the casino. Packy's Brain Box. In GTA 4, for some bizarre reason, if you angle the camera in such a way, you can see inside of Packy's head. For some reason, inside of his character model, you can find a small box with an image of skulls or a brain on them. The GTA 3 beta face. In the beta version of GTA 3, it's been revealed that in a screen grab from the Brady Games strategy guide, a very strange metallic face could be found in this location. It's not known exactly what this thing was or what the purpose of it was either, but all we do know is that it's not present in the final game. Ultra Cop. Ultra Cop is the name given to the phenomenon where sometimes cops in older GTA titles, particularly in the renderware engine, will zip towards the player, skipping the usual animations and busting the player immediately. Nobody really knows why this happens, but on some rare occasions it's actually been caught on camera.
No fucking way! No fucking way!
Liberty City Stories Snow. Snow is a rarely used weather type in GTA Liberty City Stories, which many of you watching this video probably didn't even know exists. The reason for that is because if you do the car salesman side mission, the snow will only spawn once the player reaches level 9 in one single session. However, you're only required to go to level 6 in order to complete it. Also, this only features on the PSP version of the game, but as soon as the sales car missions are over, the weather type is unfortunately gone. Long Beach in GTA 5. In GTA San Andreas, the far eastern side of the map features an area that looks similar to Long Beach in real life, but in GTA 5, Rockstar Games didn't add an area like this to the map. I guess that it was just way too ambitious, or they had completely different plans. But once you notice that it's not there, it's hard not to notice that this beach is missing. The PS2 pet in GTA 3 refers to a pedestrian you can find walking around, which has a very interesting line of dialogue. Take a listen here.
I designed the PS2.
Similarly though, in the PS2 files of GTA 3, you can also find these unused NPC models which resemble street buskers. They don't exist in the PC files, so in order to get them to spawn, you have to be playing the PS2 version and replace their character models with NPCs that are actually spawned in the game world. The Mega Tsunami. There's a rumor that the entire GTA 5 world was subject to a ginormous flooding, and the entire game is just an alternate reality. Firstly, inside the barber shop, you can find a photograph of Los Santos, which shows giant waves towering over the city. Secondly, there's a website which allows the player to, quote, play as God. On clicking the button, you will see a version of GTA 5's map, which is eerily different but similar to the final version, which is completely submerged underwater. Alligators in the sewer. The alligator myth in GTA 4 stems from the popular urban legend of sewer alligators in New York. It's referenced in the Liberty Tree newspaper and on an ad on Craplist, where someone claims to be searching for a dwarf crocodile named Betty. Players have reported sightings in the tunnels, of course in the myth community as always. But that being said, in GTA 5 you can actually hear a monster growl from the sewer system. You can actually hear these files as well in the game's audio files. So maybe alligators in the sewers isn't that far-fetched of a mystery at all. Maria killed Claude. At the end of GTA 3, Maria rambles onto Claude in an annoying tone until suddenly a gunshot cuts her off. This is then followed by silence, which of course many players assume means that Claude shot her. But some players have theorized that maybe Claude didn't shoot Maria, and maybe it was the other way around, and at the end of the game, once the credits have finished, we're just playing in a sort of free roam limbo version of the game, but the actual canon ending is Claude being shot by Maria. GTA 4 mysterious road signs. On the Broker Dukes Expressway in GTA 4, you can spot signs that say that it's heading to Hedgebury and Goat Herd. However, none of these areas exist in the final game. I guess these were either beta locations that were cut from the game entirely, or they were just placeholder names that were then changed and Rockstar forgot to change the sign. Haunted phone call. According to early 2000s players in the myth community, if CJ is hanging around the desert, particularly around El Diablo at nighttime during a thunderstorm, you can receive an extremely disturbing phone call.
Who is this?
Pretty creepy, but if I got that phone call while I was playing the game, I would immediately turn it off, turn all the lights on, and never play the game again. GTA 5's pause music is a remix of Max Payne 3. Now, the title pretty much says it all, but there's a song in Max Payne 3 called Panama, and when you listen to the two songs together, GTA 5's theme tune and this song, you have to admit they definitely sound very similar with the synth notes and the high-pitched noises. Leading many players to theorize that the GTA 5 pause menu music is actually a remixed version of this song. Happy Holidays GTA 6 box art. In December 2022, Rockstar Games posted a festive Happy Holidays message on social media. At first it seemed innocent, but in the background you can find a helicopter artwork that doesn't appear in any previous artworks or GTA game cover art. According to users on Twitter, this looks exactly the same as a Miami Police Department helicopter for Miami-Dade. As we know, every GTA game features a helicopter in the top corner of the box art, so I guess we'll have to wait and see until the official GTA 5 box art is revealed to see whether or not this really was a reference all that time ago. Kanye West in GTA 5. Spotted as early as 2013, players in GTA 5 noticed a pedestrian wandering Vinewood and Vespucci Beach who bears a striking resemblance to Kanye West. I guess this guy kind of does look a little bit like Kanye West, but obviously the NPC is not supposed to be him. While it might look like him, it's definitely not the case. Michael's kids are Brad's kids. Some fans believe that Michael's kids in GTA 5 might not actually be his, based on several subtle clues throughout the game, and in fact they might be Brad's kids instead. Firstly, Amanda admits she was into, quote, the other guy when she met Michael, and then she got pregnant almost immediately. She avoids questions about whether she slept with anyone else or not, and Jimmy also bears a very strong resemblance to Brad in a family photo you can find in Michael's mansion. Francis Sinclair is an Epsilonist. Francis Sinclair is a mysterious NPC you can find in Red Dead Redemption 2 who gives Arthur very strange missions. He has a facial marking on his face which is a birthmark that's very similar to that of which the Epsilon cult from GTA worship. It's said that anyone that has this facial marking is a descendant of Kraft. Digital plus analog booklets. In 2010, Rockstar Games and German publisher Stydel planned to release an ambitious art book titled Digital and Analog: The Art and Science of Rockstar Games. The set was meant to showcase never-before-seen concept art, 3D models, and behind-the-scenes insights into Rockstar Games' catalogue, including GTA games. It was also said to include several DVDs that you could watch that featured behind-the-scenes development footage. I would have loved to have seen this, but apparently the set was priced at around £310 English money, which is around $450. It was quietly cancelled before release, and sadly only a few sketches and renders of what the book might have looked like exist. Trevor's mum was in his imagination. The reason for this is because Trevor's mum shows up out of nowhere, and Trevor looks extremely disturbed, saying he didn't know they let her out yet. So that would then imply that she was either in prison or she was in a mental asylum. Now, once Trevor has retrieved the Deludamole van, which she so apparently desperately needs, and returns back to his trailer, she is missing. So she didn't want the Deludamole, or what? Maybe Trevor's mother actually wasn't there in the first place anyway, and she was just a figure of his imagination. Distant eyes. One of the most obscure and unsettling myths in GTA 3 is the legend of the distant eyes. Rarely discussed outside of old forum threads, many players have claimed that they can see distant glowing eyes on the horizon watching them while they're playing the game. None of this has ever been confirmed, but it's certainly true that while playing some copies of the PS2 version of the game, some graphical issues may have been present that may have looked like some eyes were looking at you. Berkeley doesn't exist. One of the more intriguing fan theories is from GTA San Andreas, which states that Berkeley doesn't exist, and instead he's a figment of Zero's imagination. Zero speaks of Berkeley as a longtime rival who launched an RC war over a science fair, yet we never actually get to see Berkeley in person. All the quote-unquote battles are actually fought using remote RC vehicles, and communications from Berkeley come directly from Zero, so this has led fans to speculate that maybe Zero has crafted this character inside his head to give his life a meaning. Baphomet face. The Baphomet myth in GTA 5 is a fan theory suggesting that a demonic goat-like face resembling the occult symbol Baphomet can occasionally be seen in the waves of the Alamo Sea. Players claim that the foam on the water forms a face with horns, and if you look really closely at the footage in the background here, you may start to see a pattern emerging where you can see where they're coming from. Zone of Silence is a mysterious location in Vice City stories centered around the Vice Beach, where several unexplained and eerie in-game events can occur, such as NPCs dying, the player being shot from nowhere, and people sinking through the ground. I guess this area of the map is just glitched or something. Tenpenny's Ghost. Frank Tenpenny's ghost is a man-made myth in GTA San Andreas, claiming that the corrupt officer haunts Grove Street. Obviously, in the ending of GTA San Andreas, Officer Tenpenny crashes off the Grove Street Bridge and dies in Grove Street himself. This has led many players to say that while on Grove Street late at night and during thunderstorms, they've seen Tenpenny's ghost wandering around the streets. Obviously seriously far-fetched and most likely not true, but it's myths like this that made GTA San Andreas so fun to play as a young child, exploring the woods and exploring these places, thinking about the what-ifs. But that has been the Grand Theft Auto Iceberg.